I told my family if they don't like the way something is, they can take care of it themselves. I'm married with 3 teenagers. My husband Paul and I both work full-time, and the kids do school sports or clubs after class. For years I ran the house. Paul handled the man stuff, gutters, cars, trash. The kids had their own chores, laundry, vacuuming, their own bathrooms. Everything else, and all the cooking, was mine. Last September I hit a wall at work. No more promotions without a graduate degree, so I started my master's. Night classes twice a week, plus reading every weekend. For the first few months I still tried to keep up with everything. By November I was running on 5 hours of sleep and Red Bull. I asked Paul for help. He said, "Everything's fine, you're being too picky." So things slipped. I started making big batches of chili and lasagna on Sundays, and freezing them so nobody starved during the week. I stopped scrubbing the stairs every day. Dust built up along the baseboards. Nobody died. We weren't living in filth, but the complaints started stacking up like dishes in the sink. "Frozen meals again?" Noah asked one night, poking at his turkey chili like it had wronged him. "I make those myself," I told him, "in big batches, so you have food." He shrugged and ate it anyway. "The floors have stains," my daughter Isla said a week later, pointing at a spot by the back door. I told her she had 2 hands and a mop under the sink. She rolled her eyes and walked off. The stain was still there 3 days later. Then it was the stairs, dust and dog hair thick enough to see from the kitchen. Paul mentioned it twice that week like I hadn't heard him the first time. Every time somebody complained, I said the same thing. "You're capable. Handle it." And every time, they walked away and nothing changed. I told myself it was fine, that I was almost done with the semester, that I could hold the line a little longer. Then last Tuesday, 9:40 at night, I was at the kitchen table with my laptop open, 3 tabs of a research paper due Thursday, when Paul came in holding the shower curtain liner between 2 fingers like it was a dead animal. "It's moldy," he said. "Black spots. Actually moldy. Somebody needs to deal with this." Something in me snapped. I closed the laptop and called everyone into the living room. Paul, Noah, Isla, and my oldest Grant filed in looking annoyed, like I was interrupting something important, probably a phone screen. I told them I'd been doing everything around here for years, that I was drowning trying to finish school, work full-time, and keep this house exactly the way it used to be, and I couldn't do it anymore. If something bothers you, you have working arms and legs, you know how to clean, so clean it. Nobody's disabled here. Chores were getting redistributed starting that weekend, and complaining without doing anything about it was over. Grant crossed his arms and said it wasn't fair. He had practice 5 days a week. I told him I had homework due every week on top of a full-time job and still found time, so he could find 20 minutes. Isla started crying, saying I was being mean. Noah just stared at the carpet. That night in bed, Paul told me I'd been harsh, that I basically told the kids their feelings didn't matter and needed to lay off them. I told him the speech wasn't only for the kids, it was for him too. He rolled over and didn't say anything else. For 4 days, the house went quiet in a way it never had before. Nobody talked to me past what was necessary. Isla left a plate in the sink pointedly, like a protest. I started wondering if I'd gone too far, if I'd blown up something small into something that was going to follow us for months. Then Friday afternoon I came home early and found Maya, Grant's girlfriend, in our kitchen scrubbing the stove. I asked what she was doing. She froze, rag in hand, and said Paul had been giving her $20 a week since June to come by after school and do the stuff nobody noticed. Wiping counters, vacuuming upstairs, tossing in a load of laundry, so it wouldn't look like anything was falling apart. I stood there in my coat, keys still in my hand, $20 a week, since June. 4 months of him paying a 17-year-old to cover for him, instead of lifting a finger. 4 months of him watching me collapse and telling me I was too picky. I found Paul in the garage that night and told him what Maya said. He didn't even try to deny it, just said he didn't want things falling apart and didn't have time either. I told him he'd had time to text a teenager every week and hand her cash, just not time to run a vacuum in his own house. That was over. If the bathroom got moldy again, he'd be the one on his knees with the bleach, not some kid he was paying under the table to keep me quiet. He didn't say a word. He just stood there holding a garden hose he wasn't using, and I walked back inside and left him with it. I'm moving to Spotify. Search TurtStories and follow.